So the school question, I left school, I went to Acklam Grange School. I left there when I was obviously 15, 16. I went and played football for Hull City.
Wow.
I lived down there for 3 years. Wonderful experience, great memories. Come home, played local football in the Northern League for Billingham Synthonia, which is my club. And I ended up getting a job in a warehouse at Magnet Kitchens, picking on not a forklift, but a stand-on picking truck for 9 years. I did 3 rotating shifts. No disrespect to anybody who works in a warehouse, but I hated it. Honestly, I can look back now and I can understand that, you know what, you're going to spend 40 up to nearly 200 hours a month doing your job with other people. Now that influences your way of thinking, your mindset, your goals, everything. And if you don't do something that you love, you're not going to enjoy your life and you're not going to be at your best for your family and for people around you. And that played a massive part, that job, in my previous demise, when I really fell off and nearly died through drugs and addiction and my mental health. It was a lot of it to do with what I was doing. I hated it that much. I was that unhappy in my job. And if you're that unhappy in your job, doing something 200 hours a month, it's going to play out in your real life. It's going to play out. And I ended up losing my job after 9 years. I was badly addicted to drugs. I stopped playing football. I got in all sorts of trouble with money, to not so good people. Got my house repossessed. Honey's mum, Lindsay, left me, rightly so. And I ended up just roaming the streets, party to party, effectively homeless. 70 or 100 grand's worth of debt. I don't really know how much it was, because something I've just like decompat. We're great as human beings, we decompat, put it in the box and shot it in the attic. And I did that with that dark period.
What age?
I remember I was 27, 28, okay. From about the age of 27 to 28, 29. I was just severely on the drugs. I overdosed. I don't know how many times I overdosed. I don't know. My sister seems to think 4. I think 2. I don't know the answer, which probably tells you where I was at the time. Debt, embarrassment. I could show you. You might have seen some of the pictures where I had no teeth and I was gaunt, and I was in a dark place. But I met a nice girl. Mum took me in. I ended up moving in with a nice girl. She had a beautiful little boy. I had a beautiful little girl. We got a relationship going. I was still an addict, but just not everyday an addict, because I got a job selling insurance for Combine. Remember the man I told you about who had little in-between big doors? It was his company. I got a job working as a sales advisor for that company. I got myself out, started selling insurance. And you naturally, if people always say, you know what, that was 13 years ago, next week. And on the train, the night I was going to do my training course on Sunday night, I was going down there, 20 quid in my pocket. I snuck a gram of MCAT. Remember MCAT?
No.
The plant fertilizer.
Okay. No, I don't. But...
I snuck a gram of that with me, and I did it all on the first night. Sat like out of my fucking mind in a room, sharing a room with a car salesman called Dave Barnes from Brighouse near Halifax. I spent my 20 quid in the bar on beer. They provided breakfast each morning. That was it. So I had to go 24 hours to eat another meal again. I had one shirt I had to wash in the bathtub every single night. Soaking wet on the Friday when I did the course, it was stuck to me. You could see my nipples, and it was fucking soaking wet shirt, Steve. That's where addiction took me. That's the man that I become. And it wasn't a good man. But the insurance gods smiled upon me. They gave me an opportunity. And I worked really fucking hard. Like, I think one of my gifts that God's blessed me with is my work ethic. I don't believe that anybody can work me.
Because
I don't believe that.
From stuff that I've seen before, can you talk about how you got your break? Because wasn't it you met a guy in a pub and he just recognised your talent? You can tell it better than I can, but it's just, I think it'd be, because obviously what we're then doing, it's moving from where you were to fast forward 13 years. But at some point, if someone takes a chance on you.
Yeah, well, I went to MetLife and a guy called Christian Reid, one of my best mates, Chris Rooney, introduced me to him. got me an interview. I went on the training course, got my head down my arse. So I had a lot of good people around me. My partner at the time, family, friends stuck by me. Now, that was a really tough time, mate, because I was going into club dressing rooms to speak to people about life insurance. These are my ex-teammates. I had no teeth. They knew my fall from grace. They knew where I'd been. That takes a lot of fucking... I look back and I'm actually half proud that I had the balls to stand up and to keep turning up in the face of such embarrassment and shame, and kept on showing up. And after 6 or 7 years, Terry Blackburn, who has bespoke Newcastle, Oliver Lodge, and another guy down the northwest there, the different bespokes. And we sadly don't talk no more, me and the other guy. But we got on a call. We met a few different financial services networks. I was the runner. I had a little team. I was a good salesman, but I wasn't on their level. They were all earmarked to be the golden boys of the industry. They were the golden boys, the future of the industry. And I went along with them for the ride, really. We met a few different firms. I knew in my mind I couldn't get signed off. I still had this big ball and chain called debt carrying around me in financial services. That's a fucking life sentence. You can't get signed off. So I met a few people, and one of the meetings, and then we're just going to decide which company we're going to take this brainstorm, this idea called Bespoke Financial, to one of the networks and set our company up, Steve. And the windmill on the A19 just near outside Hartlepool. I met a guy called Richard Coulson, Bob Scott, who used to be part of the network. We don't talk no more, sadly, either. That's what this industry does. Money creates issues in this industry, sadly. Terry Blackburn and a guy called Gary Thorpe, and we do talk, he's a nice fella. We get to the room, met Bob. Bob had a lot of experience, been in the game a long time, he'd done really well. Gary Thorpe, a successful man from Newcastle. Me and Terry, starry-eyed, bright-eyed kids, sat looking up, and Richard Coulson comes in. He's been quite renowned as one of the greatest ever in this industry. So it was like a Bobby Robson, coming in. It was coincidentally his Richard's hero. Comes in, shakes hands, shook hands on with me. Hey Richard, how are you doing? Proper handshake, eyeball contact. Sit down, get a cup of tea, let's have a crack. Let's find out a bit about you. And he's a ball of energy, he's all hands in, let's get going. Brilliant. And that girl come in when you called Nikki. About a week, 2 weeks earlier, we'd had a palm waiting competition for charity for Great Ormond Street. And in that place, and because she'd looked after us, old school, took a little bunch of flowers, said, listen, thanks for looking after us. Really appreciate it, thank you. She gets away, and that was it. But we'd sort of stayed in contact for that. She comes in with the coffee, sees me, Steve, and she's like, Lee, gives me a cuddle, how are you doing it? Richard, wily old fox, clocked it straight away, forever the salesman. And he said, look, get a cup of tea, pour a coffee, I'm going to go downstairs, go to the bathroom, start without me every 5 minutes. It wasn't until about 3 years later that he pulled me, he said, I didn't go to the bathroom, I went and pulled that girl, and he put it on her. He said, look, can I trust that man? He's got a load of debt, he's had a shit time. And anyway, thank the Lord. Isn't it funny how the universe and God put things together? Nikki said, I promise you now, give that man a chance. He's a good kid. And God bless that girl now, because he gave me a chance. Richard, Bob did at the time, although we don't speak no more, he fought my corner to try and get me signed off. Vicky Ellis and Tony Smith, who was just wonderful. They took a chance on me. And, I don't forget things like that. I'm very loyal. Labrador Lee, and you know what? I remember it, Steve, and I'm still here with them people now. And while they're here, I'll still be here, because if it wasn't for them, they took a chance on me. They helped me get through 6 months. We had to go through all these fucking chat. I didn't think it was going to happen, and we got signed off. And then we started Bespoke Financial Group, and again, 7.5 years ago, we started the journey, and I got a lot of help in the beginning. Kit's mum worked for me. She was a great help in setting the business up. Nathan Steele, who's now a business partner, Michelle and Darren, who are business partners, come in. My sister Louise, my brother Aaron, loads of great, brilliant people joined our business model. And listen, I'm very lucky now that I'm the sum of small parts. I'm a small part of this massive machine at Bespoke at Newcastle, in health, Bespoke Health, and Bespoke Teesside. That is just like a record-breaking, all-conquering firm. And this is the best firm in the UK. There's no two ways about it. It's not like I'm a small part of that business, and I'm very proud, mate. They fucking smash it. They're nailing the rest of the country. So whatever you see on social, it just in true, like these completely steamroll everything that comes to them, and be part of the journey. I've got to say, apart from my kids, it's been the greatest experience of my life, and I thank my lucky stars and the insurance gods.
Have you
for
ever
that
seen
opportunity.
the girl since? The girl from the bar?
I haven't seen her, no.
I think
I haven't seen her.
I'll do a
No.
Cilla Black. I'll track it down. I won't track it down. But the
Track it
but
down, yeah.
at some point you'll bump into her in the Metro Centre or somewhere, and it's, you know, buy her another bunch of flowers.